kitchen, a magical place, the starting point of delicious food, where our efforts and time bear fruit, and also where they betray us. This is Haram, and you're listening to Nobudam Radio, and today's theme is cooking. I think the kitchen has a different meaning for each person. For example, Yerin, our radio writer, said that when she was young, the kitchen was a playful place, somewhere she could experiment with ingredients, her place of creativity. So I want to ask all listeners, what is the kitchen to you? A place? A memory? Somewhere you don't approach? Or your comfort zone? So we have a guest with us on the line. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Ciel.
Hi Ciel. So I invited Ciel to come over because I wanted to have a second opinion on our stories that many people have sent in to us. Let's go hear what happens in Rebe's kitchen. Hi, I'm a student studying in England and I'm currently in Korea because of COVID-19. I'm the only Korean student on my course and most of my friends are European, so it has been difficult introducing Korean food to them. Oh, I see. They asked me what my favorite Korean food was, so I said tteokbokki and kimbap. However, they didn't know what tteokbokki was, so I said it was like rice cake, but they didn't know that either. They only understood what it was when I said it was similar to mochi. It was the same for kimbap. They had no idea what it was, and when I mentioned it was similar to sushi, they knew it straight away. I was sad that I had to compare Korean food with Japanese food so that they could understand, but I'm going to think of this as an opportunity and a chance to introduce them to K-food. So once I go back to England, I plan to treat them to Korean food and also teach them about it. Could you recommend any Korean food or cooking recipes that were well received and popular with your foreign friends? So that's the story.
Wow.
So I brought a few suggestions because I am a massive foodie. I didn't want to bring like the typical safe, the well-known, like, you know, the friend-approved dishes that we normally get.
Yeah.
I wanted to be special because this is a one-of-a-kind radio. Yeah, but I did pick stuff that you could probably get from Asian groceries in London, so you can try making them yourself. So my first one that I want to recommend is tteokguk, which people have for New Year. It's like sliced rice cakes in a beef broth. Yeah, so my second recommendation was ton. It's like Korean style fried pancakes, and it's normally enjoyed on a rainy day.
With makgeolli.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say actually. So makgeolli is a rice wine, and the combination of chon and makgeolli is like the best thing. The next suggestion I have is actually for the brave people out there. It's for people who want to challenge, people who've already tried all the Korean food. They're already like manleb, and they've become like 한국어 패치. Or do you only say that to people who are really good at speaking Korean? I don't know, like they've already become Korean. Like it's 얌념게장.
So good.
Yeah, 얌념게장. So what 얌념게장 is marinated spicy raw crab.
There's a soy sauce option as well.
Yeah, personally, I prefer the soy sauce option. It's called
간장게장.
So stupid. Yeah, it's called 간장게장. It's literal translation, and I guess you can pick your preference. But yeah, just like marinated raw crab. I've had two different types of reviews for this one. You either love it or you hate it because of the texture. But the reason I wanted to bring this one to you is because in Korea, people say this is 밥도둑, which translates to rice thief. So it means that when you're eating with this, you won't realize that your rice is going and going because this is so good.
To be fair, I think if they like, you know, like sushi, and they like raw fish, I think they'll like 간장게장 and like 양념게장 because they're both like obviously like raw.
That's true.
It's quite a similar texture, I'd say.
One of my last suggestions is 호떡. Yeah, 호떡. I really want some 호떡. Hottog is like a sweet pancake filled with brown sugar, and it sometimes comes with peanuts or cinnamon according to what shop you go to. But like I don't remember seeing this being sold anywhere in London. But if you go to Korean groceries or like Asian groceries, they have a like a making pack that tastes as good because it is just like it's like you make your own brownie but like make your own hotdog. Make your own hotdog pack.
I recommend 고구마 맛탕.
Oh, that's nice. That's a good option.
I think it's more of a traditional dessert, I guess.
Yeah.
And not many foreigners know it, but
yeah, it is more
I
traditional.
think they'll really like it.
I think they're good suggestions. But then at the end of the day, I think the best thing to do is just go to a Korean restaurant, like anywhere that has a good review, and then just ask the waitress or waiter. They will know exactly what to give. So Rebe said that kimbap was her favorite food. So we prepared the song Kimbap by 더 자두, but we've brought you a cover by someone called HAYEAH, and they sent it in. So let's have a listen, and we'll come back.
우리 달라도 한참 달라 너무 피곤해 영화도 나는 멜로 너는 액션 난 피자 너는 순두부 그래도 우린 하나 통한 게 있어 김밥을 좋아하잖아 언제나 김과 밥을 붙어 산다고 너무나 부러워했지 잘 말아줘 잘 눌러줘 밥알이 김에 달라붙는 것처럼 너에게 붙어 있을래 날 안아줘 날 안아줘 옆구리 터져버린 저 김밥처럼 내 가슴 터질 때까지 예전에 김밥 속에 단무지 하나 요새 김치에 치즈 참치가 세상이 변하니까 김밥도 변해 우리의 사랑도 변해 잘 말아줘
As we were listing the mouth-watering food earlier, we actually got another story from someone called Peppa Pig. So let's tune in. Why are you laughing?
Peppa Pig.
Oh my goodness, I used to watch Peppa Pig so much. Like I watched it up to when I was like in the end of my primary school.
Yeah, me too. It's a childhood favorite.
Okay, so let me read the story. I feel that most people have either realized that they eat to live or live to eat. I am the latter. Before the pandemic, I've always planned a rough menu for the week that I stick to. This is just to calculate my overall calories and the macros so that I'm eating a healthy diet that follows through my fitness goals. However, after lockdown was when I became a new upcoming master chef. From fermenting my own kimchi, wow, oh my goodness, making fresh bread, dumplings from scratch, and making tapioca balls for my homemade bubble teas. This went on for months, and not to boast, but I've realized I can pretty much make anything at home at quite a substantial level. You can boast about that, like homemade bubble teas. I can't, even the tapioca balls, like I can't imagine doing that. So now I've gained nearly 10 kilograms from my initial weight. For those who say that is probably muscle as I exercise, that's probably not the case when during lockdown and the gyms being closed. The gym was my only source of exercise. So is there anyone else that can relate? Question mark?
Yep, me.
Yeah, I can relate. I don't know what to say to this because Peppa Pig doesn't sound like they're sad or anything about gaining weight. They sound like they're having the time of their lives. Like they had a really busy lockdown. Like it was filled with making kimchi. Like, yeah, I think that's pretty good. And I assume Peppa Pig is a student, but being able to do all of that is quite amazing.
I mean, I hear it as, obviously during lockdown, there are people who are like stressed, they were bored, like, because they couldn't leave their homes.
Yeah.
Usually most of the time they're either working from home or if they're not working, then they're just kind of stuck at home. And like people will start to want to think about like maybe the hobbies they want to do or maybe skills they would want to improve, but everything has to be within, your home.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's maybe a new kind of hobby that found during lockdown, and as a result is the weight gain. I completely lost my social interactions when lockdown finally ended, like the first lockdown, and then I met my friends and I didn't know how to communicate. I was just there like, hi.
Becoming socially awkward. But going back to Peppa Pig's story, I want to recommend the movie Little Forest. There's two versions. The original version is from Japan, I think, and they remade it in Korea, I think about a year or two ago. And the main actress in it is Kim Tae-ri. She like kind of finds her own hobby in making food, and like if Peppa Pig's new hobby is cooking, then I think this would be interesting. So we have our last sayon. So we have our last story. It's from someone called Mikae, and let me read it. Hello. Before I start my story, I'd like to thank the Nobudam family who are always passionate and have given us laughter and happiness. Oh, that's so sweet. Since I was young, I have grown up with my parents, and all I had experienced cooking was just ramen and simple food. So when I started living alone in uni, I didn't really know anything, and I wasn't interested in cooking. I tried a little bit and ended up eating out or ordering delivery. I think that's what we all do. But after I met my girlfriend, it started to change. My girlfriend is very good at cooking because she has a lot of experience living alone and tries to make many different things. Maybe that's why I want to repay her. So at first I used to eat out often and buy food for her, and now I want to learn how to cook and put more effort into it. But whenever I do it, the surroundings get really messy and it doesn't even taste good. Guess it's because I am a beginner, but it's hard no matter how hard I keep doing it. Or maybe I'm not good at multitasking. Still, I want to succeed in many delicious dishes somehow, whatever it takes. Cooking masters, please tell me some recipes that beginners can make easily and deliciously, especially with ingredients available in the UK. And do you have your own good tips for cooking or being safe? I'm rooting for everyone who just started cooking like me. That's cute.
Yeah, it's the thought that counts as well. Like, I'm sure she appreciates that you're cooking for her.
Yeah, even if it tasted really bad, if my boyfriend like went through the time and effort to make me something, I think I'd be pretty happy.
Yeah, I think it's not really about the result. I mean, if the result's great, like, that's great, but ultimately, like, you know, maybe it's just me. I get really emotional about things like that. Like, when I see people put in effort to, like, make me happy or, you know, to do something for me, it's just, you know, the thought, like, oh, they did this for me.
Like Ciel said, it's actually the thought that counts, and I'm sure your girlfriend won't mind. But I am gonna give you some recommendations for some YouTube channels, like really easy ones that even I could follow. So there's this like person called One Meal a Day. They have really simple 2 to 5 minute recipes, and because it's so short, like it's really easy to just like have a whiz through the videos. If you want to do like Korean food, there's this person called Bangchi. I think she's like Korean American.
Yeah. She has like a book and everything.
Her menus have like millions of views.
Yeah, so she blew up in like the Korean American community. She makes Korean dishes with like ingredients that are available locally. Now Asian culture has evolved, and like you can get your ingredients from like Korean markets and like Asian markets, and it's a lot more convenient now. But I think the first generation, when they moved into like, you know, Korean Americans, like they had to find alternatives, and she started making videos. Like, her editing is like, it's really bad. I'm not gonna lie.
I think that's the merit though. It's almost like that grandma, you know, that famous Korean grandma, 박나래 할머니? 박나래?
Yeah,
like
it's
you just
really
watch
simple.
it.
Her videos are really simple.
Yeah.
And like literally just teaches you how to do it. There's no like effects or.
I think that's what makes it like makes her stand out as well though.
Yeah, and now that she's blown up, she has like a book and everything. And
yeah, that's crazy.
What are your personal tips? Like, what are the things that you cook, and what are your tips for, you know, like good tasting food?
You know, non-stick pan. I would say a non-stick pan for a beginner is the way to go.
Makes your life easier.
Yeah, you just don't want your stuff like sticking to the pan, like burning. If
not, you have to oil your pan, you know, generously and consistently.
And I would say, like, if you were to buy one different type of pan, I would recommend a wok.
Yeah, definitely.
Wok, you could do like fried rice, you could do stews, and you can even do ramyeon in there because it's quite deep. Like, you could do everything. You could do pasta in there. I think a wok would be the best to buy. My last tip is pay attention to plating. You know, even if it's not tasty, if you put a little bit of spring onions on top, or like samgye, like sesame seeds, then I think
or some parsley.
Yeah, for the photos, and then for the cheongsong and the time, and then I don't know.
You're basically saying fake it till you make it.
Yeah, and then like it would be nice in your memories, like when you look through your photo gallery. Like, you don't need to remember the taste. This is the end of our what we prepared today, actually. So thank you for everyone joining us today, and for all the stories that people sent in. Before we finish, make sure you visit the 노부담 website and check out our other interesting topics. We have ones about health, 2 p.m, 2 a.m, hobbies, etc. This has been your DJ Haram and our guest,
Ciel.
Thank you for listening. Bye.